Welcome to Threads of Enlightenment. It is my honor, as always, once our guest comes in, is to welcome them first and thank them for entrusting us with their story and their journey and all the insight they have gained that they are now going to impart to us wisdom, knowledge, so that you and I can become better human spirits while we are living here on this planet, because you and I are going to change form one day. While we are here, we have to learn who we are and the fact that we are greater than what people tell us we are. So I want to welcome Lois to Threads of Enlightenment, and we are going to have a wonderful conversation. Lois, thank you for coming.
Thank you, and bless you, Jesus. Thank you. He brought us together.
Yes, he did. Thank you so much. Tell the people of some of the things that you've done today, you're doing today.
Well, I'm 78 years old, and I rollerblade with my grand. He said, Asha, you got to roller skate. And I went, okay. No more the skates. You got to rollerblade.
Yeah.
You got to get with it. So he got me rollerblading, and I was dying at 55. So what turned the corner? I learned about shame, guilt.
Yeah.
And once I did that, and of course you have to take care of your body, I juice vegetables, right, et cetera, but you got to get rid of the shame, guilt, energy. So that was my big. Now, looking back on my life, I've always been a trailblazer. But I didn't know that because if something needed to be done, I did it. It didn't matter if nobody bore.
Yeah.
So that's my MO. But I never knew that was an important ingredient because I didn't go in.
And that's one of the signs of those trailblazers. They keep going,
They just keep going. And once God said, we're not letting you go, you got another mission. He helped me heal. And I just helped and roared.
Awesome. One of our gifts, I tell people, the gift that we receive once we have walked through our journey is that we have a chance to become servants. Here
of service.
And it is a beautiful honor and a place to become one that serves, and it is a privilege to be there. So, Lois, I wanted you to talk to me about this young girl that now she's born. Mom and dad brought her from the hospital. You're in this beautiful house. Talk to me about your house and your family and stuff like that.
Well, I don't every child. Again, I didn't realize that in 40, everything.
Yeah.
I remember love, but love came more from God because I had a near death.
How old were you?
About 5 or 6.
Okay.
I don't know.
5 or 6?
About 5 or 7. No, I don't know. All I know is that my neck was broke. I heard ever since then. But I thought everybody. That's why I went in film, because I had because I did not know that everybody. I was this is 6. Dyslexia. So I wrote everything backwards.
Wow.
And I stutter, so I was labeled. Remember my coming to school, because a Catholic daughter in the back of class. We are a Catholic school, or but we're not going to not test these labels. And that was a godsend, because I just talked to God all the time. and I love the tap discs, because I think that's what helped my right and left brain.
Yeah.
Always. So I would sit at my desk and do all the tap disc steps, the next concert, next show. So that's how I got through. But the beauty of it, I passed every test.
Wow. Really?
So
I guess
I don't understand all that. I'll just know that God was.
Yeah.
And eventually I got into university. That's it.
Wow. For someone who
how did that happen?
For someone that they labeled stupid, I'm sure that was a shock to them,
Well, it was a shock to me. I didn't tell them I'm stupid. I just said and when I got the letter, I was looking at them, I guess I'm nothing.
So tell me, how did that make you feel?
Well, the shame guilt came on.
Yeah.
I was covered with shame guilt because, when you're late, that's a shame. And I remember one memory I do have is when I probably start and the nun in front of the class with her book and read it. Well, with the dyslexia and all the words never stop moving. And that's a condition of brain.
Yeah.
So I would hold the book and I said, how do I stop them?
Wow.
Because I couldn't, they were moving. And so they went,
wow.
They hit me. Because the next day, they put me in front of the class again.
Yeah.
Like, you learned your lesson, right? We're going to hit you if you joke.
Yeah.
I have a very creative, it's just very, so I turned the book around, thinking that if I turned it around, maybe I mean, it makes sense, right? To a 5-year-old, right? If that doesn't work, just do the opposite. Another slap it, so they gave up.
Wow, that's interesting.
But think of the shame and guilt.
Yeah.
And then there's one other episode I must have been 7 years old when you make your, and you had to go to confession, and I'm sitting in line for confession. Why are you? And if I don't tell my sins, God won't love me. Because that's what you. Yeah. But you got to remember, I'm in a small family, both Polish, Catholic. Where do I go? Yeah. What do I do? We're talking 60 years. Wow. Things were quite different. We didn't have we didn't even have a TV. Yeah, yeah. What sins did I commit? Yeah. And so I'm crying because I can't. Yeah. But see how that shame you? Yeah. Because not good enough and sin or bad and all that shame. That church, they come from the right place, but their language is shameful. So yes, I had shame up the zing-zang. Yeah. And I didn't know it. Over broken neck. So I learned that all my depression, anxiety. Wow. So God was rid of the rest of the negativity, positive, automatic. You don't have to therapy, depression, anxiety, and anger. And boy, I'll be dead. It's over. We just need to get rid of their energy. And then I healer. Yeah. That's another. But the trick was I was good and I felt good and very important. Yeah. I became good enough, feel good enough to be, our doctor and mentor. Yep. When I healed, I got younger, and everybody said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm talking." Yeah. And getting rid of. They go, "Can you do that?" And I go, I taught them to do what I was doing. Yeah. And they got well and younger. Then they sent me. And they got happy. They didn't bug their and they got better. So I went, "Charge what?" He's telling people how to talk. Yeah. So that's how my career. So tell me, about this girl sitting down and having conversations with God. What did you talk about? What did you ask him? To God or to Mel? To God. We are God. Yeah. God's self. Yeah. So what I learned, this happened early self and how, because I did go to, but that didn't, was I did. Yeah. I learned shame, guilt. It's not how the love and God. It gives joy, passionate, all those qualities. Yeah. But that comes. Yeah. Yeah. And the others we have shame, negative, that positive, passion. Yeah. So once, why do I feel guilt? We have nervity. Yeah. Shame, guilt, both. Wow. But they call it. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you have a bacteria, according to medical, same virus. Wow. If you have the same hepatitis, you have the same shoulder arthritis, the same See how that's seen? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not going to heal because you think it's a different meningitis and nephritis and hepatitis. It's all the same bacteria. Now, there's different, but that's guilt, conscious, but it's it's the virus. See how that messed us up? Yeah. Talk to me about once you're having this conversation, because I know from the church you can pick up much of that shame guilt. Of course, because they're your mother's father, the governor is not bad. The president shame that goes, and they don't know. They throw it. Yeah. It's an energy. Remember the game we play with hot beta? Nobody wants to hold it. Yeah. So you keep throwing it away. That's shame guilt. Throwing it away because you don't want it. But society taught us to throw it into other. Yeah. Okay, so we're like, no, I don't do that anymore because it's not of God. It serves no purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, shame, and it I have my cell phone and talking to you. God's here talking, and I'm talking to God, right? Yeah. And shame, guilt, energy goes and stops. Yeah. It's dissing. Okay? It interferes so since it's outside of us. I wanted you to talk about the conversation that you were having once you realized what it was. What is that conversation that you're having with the self that you were teaching people, but first you were teaching yourself? Well, it did it. Okay. So did I explain properly how shame, guilt, and energy that affects our emotions? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, what happens to your computer when it gets a virus? It goes haywire and you want to throw the damn thing out. Yes. And you have a virus on your computer and it affects your Microsoft Word and some files. I have the same virus in my computer, but it doesn't affect Word. It just affects my Wi-Fi. Do you see how it's different for everybody?
Yeah.
That virus attacks your brain or your kidneys or your liver. It affects it differently on each person. So your computer's the same way. So we, as you know, are energy. We have God energy. We are God energy incarnated in this life. So anything outside of us that's an energy is going to affect us like a computer virus. Now, if you can think of shame, guilt, energy as a computer virus coming into you, it messes you up. What happens when you're in shame, guilt, energy? You don't feel right. You just feel confused. You feel I'm not good enough. You get depressed, you get anxious. So it's really a virus that attacks our energy system.
So as you began to explain this, because a lot of people, the reason why I was asking, Lois, is because a lot of people are here within this shame, guilt aspect of life and living.
Symposium.
Yes, and they're all sitting in this stadium of life and participating with this virus, and this virus is affecting our system. So you have talked to us as, some of those folks, as you said, they were bringing people to you after you started talking to yourself and you brought yourself out and you got into healing. Start us on the journey with that conversation, because we need to understand this as people so that we can begin our journey of healing, because so much of us are in pain, and because of the shame.
And the pain is the shame, guilt, energy oppressing us.
Yeah.
It's like you're walking through life and you're picking up metal, more metal. Every time somebody throws something at you, you're not good enough. Or you say it to yourself. We are our worst enemies. So we keep putting that upon ourselves. Their solution is we make friends with our inner critic, okay? We don't cut him up. Everybody says, cut him up, get rid of him, kick him out. He's part of us. He's part of us, God. We can't kick him out. He only gets stronger.
Yeah.
So I have a film on how to talk to your inner critic and make friends with him. My inner critic, instead of beating me and telling me I'm no good or I can't do it, goes around the world finding people like you in Thailand to have a podcast. He changed his job.
Yeah.
Okay? He's my helper, not my pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Okay? So I want people to know that you can talk with your inner critic and make pens with him, and he supports you and you support him.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
I believe the same as you, the fact that we are energy and we release the energies. That's why I tell people be very specific about what you speak and how you speak it, because I use the example of Genesis when God came and the situation was a mess, and he looked at it and he said, I need light. And so he said, let there be light. And so you and I have to do the same within our darkness. Be very specific in what we want.
Let there be light.
And speak exactly as to what we want, because the words then that we have just released and believe in will go forward, and it will bring the people the other energies, because I keep telling them people are energies. It will cause situation to bring those energies to you so that you can accomplish what you had just released. And so that's how powerful.
And the only enemy you have is the shame, guilt, distortion virus, like it does to your computer. It messes everything up. So the first step is to know that shame, guilt is an energy and not of God. It's here to be our adversary. And God gives us adversaries so we can grow. That's another long story. But shame, guilt is an energy, and it's not good. People say shame is bad and guilt is good. No, we don't need guilt to be moral. I'm moral because I'm God's part. God would want me to be moral. So that's not an issue. So shame, guilt needs to be just say, get away. And I have 3 films, and they're only 15 minutes, and they talk exactly what I'm saying here now, but it's visual. I make shame, guilt visible so you understand it's a dark green energy. And we can...
Yeah.
Remember the Wizard of Oz?
Mm-hmm.
And Dorothy is going to see the wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And she's all very frantic. Oh my goodness, the all-powerful Oz. She trembles. And then what does Toto do? The little doggy.
Yeah.
He pulls the curtain back. And what is the big all-powerful Oz? A little man.
Yeah.
With a big machine making smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's shame guilt.
Yeah.
It's a big huff of smoke.
Yeah.
So if our dear audience can just embody that and know that it's an energy that you can literally take off of yourself. That's what I do. I help people to learn more about this. But fact is that it's not of us. It serves no purpose but to make us victims. And God did not make victims.
No. That's what I tell them. We are.
God did not make victims.
None of us are. We cannot allow that mentality to survive because it will always short circuit.
If you can visualize big blanket that's black put over you, that's shame guilt energy.
Yeah.
So you take the big black blanket, you take it off, then your light can shine.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not complicated. But nobody told us the real story because they wanted to keep us victims.
Yeah. So how did you, once you began to understand this aspect of yourself and you began to exercise and live from it, how did it change your life?
Well, I healed. I got younger. I rollerblade. I mean, I talk to God. I write from the Akashic Records. I have thousands of pages of writings. God talks, I'm the secretary, I write. So I found that ability after I got rid of the shame guilt energy, that not all, but I was able to enjoy the wonderful gifts that God has bestowed upon me. And when I'm talking on the phone and they're making shameful remarks and this and that, I go, I don't take it.
Yeah.
I don't take it. I gotta go. Goodbye. I don't.
Yeah.
But it took me years to understand what is shame guilt behaviors because we think it's normal. Let's face it. It's been since Adam and Eve. So that's why I call myself an educator, because procrastination, I'll read it from my book. From my book. All these negative emotions are sourced by shame guilt. Now you can go to therapy or work on each one, but it'll take more than a life. So just get rid of shame guilt, and then they turn positive.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Okay, depression, sadness, procrastination, underachieving, anger, indifference, embarrassment, arrogance, cheating, PTSD, eating disorders, bullying, regret, loneliness, grief, self-abuse, pity, hatred, suffering, shyness, narcissism. Do you see what I'm saying? All of them.
Yeah.
If you look at each one of them, you can see its source from shame guilt.
Yeah. Wow. That's fascinating.
How uplifting is that?
Yeah, I love that.
I only read you 2 columns. I have 4.
Those that are listening,
I can send it to you if you like.
Yeah, those that are listening, I want you guys to get at Lois's site so that you can get all the information from her as to how to learn to recognize your shame guilt and deal with it, as she says.
Never say your.
Well, that's correct. I apologize. The shame guilt.
No. We all say that.
Yeah.
We all say that. It's the shame guilt.
Yeah. And I want to correct myself. The shame guilt. So that you can recognize the shame guilt and take off that blanket so that you can move forward in your life.
Because
go ahead.
You don't own it.
Yes. It is not you.
And also, it's not you, because you were God representative here on earth. I also want to say that we need to take shame guilt out of our vocabulary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's such a shame. It's raining today. I can't go to the parade. No, it's not a shame. It's unfortunate or like it's inconvenient, but it's not a shame. Never call shame to you.
Yeah.
Never use the word shame unless it's in, like we're talking.
Yes.
For healing.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're not owning it
in
a conversation.
Yes.
Oh, it's such a shame somebody died. Well, not really a shame. It's sad, if you're close to that person, and I feel for you. But we don't need to over apologize either. Like, I'm so sorry, or like, I'm so sorry, but this happened and that happened. And I'm just like, really? Yeah. We're only inviting ourselves to be shamed.
Yeah. There's a story in Job.
That's what I teach.
Awesome. There's a story in Job, Lois, where Job said, the thing that I have feared has come upon me. So there you go. He called the energy upon himself. And so when you speak about it, as you say, you're actually calling it upon yourself.
Yeah. And fear is shame, guilt also. They call it fear, like the meningitis and cystitis and nephritis and arthritis. They just give it different names. But fear is shame, guilt too. Only it's a deeper part of shame, guilt that has stayed in your body so long it's locked in. Wow. But every negative thing is shame, guilt energy. Like, wow.
It is profound, As you are looking and you're moving, you started teaching people about recognizing this. How did it affect? You were saying parents were bringing their children. How did you see the result as you were talking to some of those people? You were saying that they recognized it in you. You mentioned that some of them were getting younger and getting healed. So.
And getting rid of gray hair, too.
I had that when I was 18, I should have known you then so I could deal with mine.
Hey, age is irrelevant.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Age is irrelevant because I'm better now at 78 than I was at 50.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I can't do the rollerblading, so you're good, man.
My grandson taught me.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, when people change, I mean, and you being a spiritual person, you can see that the whole countenance changes. I cried. Yeah. That's how it affected me.
Wow.
I cried because it was so profound that we can heal. We don't have to spend 50 years in therapy. Yeah. We can heal and be the representative that God wants us to be. I can almost cry now because it's so profound and no one is teaching.
Yeah. And that's why I want people I'm going to provide them, Lois, with all of your stuff because we've got to get this information out to people.
Okay, now it's so important because David Hawkins, he was a researcher. Yeah, you might have heard of him. Yeah, he's now living with God. But what he did was take each emotion and gave it a number frequency. Okay, Enlightenment is 700,000 to the 30th power. Okay. I don't know the name of that number, but it does exist according to mathematical son-in-law. Yeah. And then from Enlightenment, it goes love and joy, like 500,000, and then peace, 100,000. Then it starts after 200, it goes courage and hatred. The frequencies go down. Yeah. Because of the shame guilt energy coming in. Shame guilt comes in, your frequency goes down. Yeah. And you know what the lowest frequency is? No. Guilt. Wow. And guilt comes in at 10. 10. From 700,000 to the 30th power, 10. Wow. So when you're in the frequency of guilt, there's nothing below that. And that's when suicide happens. Wow. And that's mathematically proven. So when you're in guilt, that's the lowest frequency that you can have and still be alive.
That is absolutely profound.
So that's the most profound thing that I want people to know. That's how evil it is. Now, if you're in guilt, it's hard to get out of guilt. So God gave me these words, and I have them on my website, and it's called, the book is, I still have it up here. I don't have it with me. It's Now is the Time. And it's a pamphlet, and you can print it out on my website. And it's God Talks in His Way. This is not Lois. I'm just a secretary. But it helps raise your vibration so you get out of guilt and at least you get to courage or you get to anger. Anything's better than guilt. Okay? You can be angry. That's better than guilt. Or you can feel regret. So I would suggest for people, if they're in the guilt thing, try to make your mind think regret. Oh, I shouldn't have tripped that person. They fell down. Or I should have not invested that money in that corporation because I lost money.
Yeah.
Use the word regret. I regret doing that, so that leads to a solution.
Yeah.
Guilt has no solution. Think about it.
Wow.
When you're in guilt, do you have any solution?
No.
The only solution is suicide. I want to get out of here because I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But if regret, I can fix it.
Yeah.
I had a client that I worked with to get to regret, at least.
Mm-hmm.
They were in guilt because they couldn't help their mother get out of the alcoholism. She passed away from alcoholism. And she carried that guilt forever.
Wow.
But when I know, you can't make somebody do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's their journey.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get out of the guilt, she started many programs for people who wanted to get out of the alcohol addiction. Mm-hmm. And she wrote books and had events and community. And so that's the way she got out of the guilt.
Wow. I love this conversation.
So that's an important thing. That's how people can take home. If they only do that, it's a big step forward.
Yeah.
We don't need to be in guilt. No 10. Mm-hmm. No 10. Yeah. No 10.
Oh, wow. I'm enjoying this. Lois, I want to make sure that everyone gets your information. Tell us where we can get your information, because I want them to go get those pamphlets and the things that you talked about.
And they're free. They're free. God gave it to me for free, so I'm giving it to free. Mm-hmm. Lois Hollis, LoisHollis.com.
Awesome.
And you can get my free book and the pamphlet. Take it and read it. And bring your frequency up. Will it bring it up forever? Well, it gets you out of the hole. Yeah. And when you're out of the hole, you can start thinking and call your friend. Mm-hmm. But when you're in guilt, you're all by yourself.
Wow.
We got to sneak God in there. And that's the way, sneak them in.
I love that. Sneak him in. Well, anyway, he can get in there. That's fine. Sneak him in is awesome. So, Lois, I want to thank you for coming to Threads of Enlightenment and sharing with us. And I am going to make sure that everyone gets to your site to get all that information, so that they can change their life. And as you said, and have you been saying, so that we can lift our frequency, so that we do not walk in any type of fear,
guilt.
Yes.
And fear.
Yes. Thank you.
May I say something?
Oh, please.
I want to add one thing.
Yes.
I'mGoodFilm.com is where my videos are. Mm-hmm. And that's how I show how shame guilt looks. It's a big eye-opener. They're only 15 minutes. I'mGoodFilm.com. Because I'm good.
Excellent. I will make sure we posted in the show notes as well.
Okay. Thank you. Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you.